When I bake sourdough bread, I tend to bake it in a traditional bread loaf shape, and I bake it in bread tins, um, as you'll see in the video. I do it because it's easier to store, it's easier to use. We tend to use it for sandwiches, for breakfast, um, and I found it's actually easier just to bake. There's less work, there's fewer steps involved. It's much more forgiving of imperfections, and it allows to simplify the process for people who don't really have that much time, or who don't feel like experts in baking. So that's the reason why I make it in a traditional bread loaf shape. And I bake one basically every weekend, and we use it sort of through the week. I make at least one, maybe two per week, but it's really quite easy, as you'll see in the video. Hi everyone, so my name is Stefan. I'm going to do something I've never done before, which is make a educational tutorial video on how I make my sourdough bread. I'm making it because I was asked to do it, and I don't know how to explain how I make the bread other than to show video of how I do it. Admittedly, I try to sort of find all of the extra work that I can take out of the process to make it easy because I'm busy, we're all busy. So I'll show you how I do it. You don't need that many ingredients. It follows typical rules. So I keep a bottle of water. It's dechlorinated water. I just take filtered tap water. I let it sit out for at least 24 hours with the cap open, so if there's any chlorine in it, it sort of disappears. And I have a scale here that I'm using, and I'm measuring, I'm gonna measure 350 grams of water. It's a very cold day here, so I'm actually going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to microwave the water for 30 seconds to get it up to temperature. When I do, I make sure the temperature doesn't go above 100 degrees. I don't want to damage the sourdough starter. So exactly 30 seconds in the microwave. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So I'm just going to check, make sure my temperature's fine. I have one of these electronic thermometers here. 92 degrees, that's fine. Put it in a bowl. Okay, reset my scale to 0. Okay, I'm gonna add 13 grams of salt. Everybody who bakes knows you can't cheat. You actually have to weigh. There's no shortcuts. I'm just going to stir that so the salt's not all sitting on the bottom. Excellent. 125 grams of starter. I fed the starter yesterday. It's quite active, and I find it doesn't have to be very precise. If I have less, I put 100 grams. If I have more, I put a little bit more. My starter is really active, it's very strong, I found. I made it myself a few years ago, following videos I also saw on YouTube. So I'm gonna add about 125 grams of active starter. That might be a bit short today. It is 120, 125 actually, exactly, so that should work. I like to stir it, make sure it's sort of really dissolved well in the water. Okay, that's good. It basically looks like a milky substance once it's been mixed and dissolved. Reset my scale. Today I'm gonna make my bread with just plain white flour. Sometimes I mix it with whole wheat flour. I don't love whole wheat bread. I find that if I put about 40% whole wheat flour and the residual 60% white flour, it tastes amazing. But the kids asked me to make white bread, so I'm just gonna make white bread today. So I reset my scale to 0, and I'm going to put 520 grams of white flour today. If it's whole wheat flour, I put the same amounts. It's still 520. I don't change the measurements. 520 exactly. Perfect. All right, at this stage, I'm just mixing. I'm using the same spoon. I'm just mixing. I just want to sort of incorporate everything. It doesn't have to be perfect. Actually, it will not be perfect. It's going to be super shaggy, but that's fine. I'm just really trying to get the water, starter, and salt relatively well mixed in, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. There, that's good enough. It's extremely shaggy, as you will see in a second. Off. There you go. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'll show you what it looks like so you can have a see. Very, very shaggy dough. I'm going to cover it with a kitchen cloth. And I'm going to leave it for 30 minutes. And I'll come back in 30 minutes and I'm going to start working it. I work it 3 times. You know, following the standard rules. So I'll be back. Okay, guys, so we're back. I'm not dressed for baking, I'm dressed for work. It's a work day, but I'm getting this done in between work. So here's what the dough looks like after 30 minutes. It's still shaggy, but it's had time to rest a little bit. So I just washed my hands. What I'm gonna do is, I have a bowl of water here. I would have done the sink, but the sink's a bit messy. And I'm just gonna work the dough for about a minute, really not that much. I'm gonna do it with very wet hands because the dough sticks a lot. So just got a bunch of water in my hands. You can be generous. The dough can use some extra water anyway, so it's fine. And I'm really just sort of working the dough a little bit. What you'll see is I'm folding it like this. Turn the bowl, fold it like this. And you'll see that it starts to get smoother as you do it. You really don't need to do it very long. We're gonna do this 3 more times, or 2 more times, sorry. 3 times in total. 1 more. See, I'm working it, turning it. So here's what it looks like now. A little bit more smooth. And now I'm just gonna cover it again with a kitchen cloth, a dishcloth. And let it sit for another 30 minutes, and then I'll be back. Okay, we're back. It's actually been closer to 40 minutes because I was stuck in meetings. But here's our dough. So you can see it's actually starting to rise a little bit, and it's certainly getting smoother. So I have my water here, just wash my hands. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did last time. I'm gonna get my hands nice and wet, and then I'm just gonna work it. By working it, let me move this. By working it in a circle like this, and just folding it and folding it over itself. There, have it like that. Turn the bowl 90 degrees. Hands are nice and wet. Repeat. Spill some water. There you go. Don't need to do nearly as much. It's much smoother. Don't worry if there's water in the bottom of the bowl. It's going to get absorbed by the dough or whatever, but it certainly won't be a problem. There, the flour, the dough is less sticky, doesn't stick to the hands as much. Much easier to work, feels much smoother. And I'm really just folding it over and over and over again. Again, for about a minute. You don't need to do too much work, but you'll see it has a very different texture. It feels very different to the touch. That's it. Last one. There. This is what it looks like. I'm gonna cover it with a cloth again. Let it sit for another 30 minutes or so. And then do this one more time, and then we're done. We're just gonna let it rest until it's ready. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. I'm gonna do the last turn. You can see it here. Again, I just washed my hands. So I'm gonna do one last turn of the dough. Feels very different. It's very smooth now. Doesn't stick much. It's completely changed in texture. You can see it's a smooth ball. Very nice. Don't need to do nearly as much work this time. That's it. top. Okay, so now I'm gonna leave it for probably 6 hours. Let it rest, let it rise. It's gonna rise a lot, and then I'm gonna bake it. See you in a few hours. Okay, it's been about 5.5 hours. You can see that it has risen significantly. You can see soft is lots of air bubbles. So here's what I did. Now I'm making a loaf. I'm not making sort of a traditional shaped sourdough bread. So I lined a bread tin with wax paper. My hack is I just take 2 bread tins, I stack them, and that creates the Dutch oven that you want. The nice thing about making a bread loaf is that you don't need the dough to be perfect. You don't need to shape it, you don't need to do anything, you just leave it exactly as it was. You'll see that it's a very, very runny dough. I like it like that actually. I think it makes the bread nice and soft. It is not dry at all. So I'm just basically just gonna pour this into the half of the bread tin that has the wax paper. It just pours out, as you can see. It's not very elegant. There. So it's been about 5.5 hours. It's risen a lot, but so I'm gonna remove this. As you can see, it fits nicely. It's big, it's not very pretty. Make my life easy, I just use scissors, score down the middle so I control where it opens when it bakes. I'm gonna put this second tin on top. That's it. It's a super basic and it's surprisingly functional Dutch oven setup. The oven's been on, preheating at 450. Now our oven runs pretty hot. It's on convection bake. It runs pretty hot. I'm gonna bake it like this for 30 minutes. Each oven may be a little bit different. Like I said, ours runs pretty hot. It cooks things really quickly. After 30 minutes, I'm gonna remove this, remove it from the parchment paper. I'll show you. I'll put it on one of these trays. I turn the oven off actually. I put it back in there for 15 minutes and it just finishes. The oven stays very hot, so I don't need the oven running. I just need the heat to finish the bread. So in the oven it goes. I'll put a 30-minute timer and then I'll be back in 30 minutes after it has baked. Okay, there it is. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. I'm gonna take the bread out of the oven. Okay. Oh, stuck to the top. So I'm gonna remove it from the top. It's stuck a little bit. You can see I'm removing it here. Remove the rest. Basically, I'm just going to remove it from this. I'm going to rest it on a pizza tray. It's just going to stick it from the top. I need both hands, so I'll be back in a sec. So it was stuck a little bit to the sides. I just used a little knife to unstick it. No parchment paper left. You can see the loaf. So it's not fully cooked. It's still a bit raw here. So what I do now is I turn the oven off. And I stick it back in the oven for 15 minutes with the oven turned off. There, back in 15. Okay, it's been 15 minutes. I'm going to take the bread out of the oven. So here we go. Here's our loaf. You have to let it cool for 15 minutes. Oops, you can't see it. but you can hear the crust. It's lovely, it's beautiful, and it's hot. I'll let it cool for 15 minutes and then I'll cut it open and you'll see what it looks like inside. Back in 15. Okay, so in 15 minutes, the bread has had time to cool down. You can kind of hear the crust. Just gonna slice it open. Let's see what it looks like inside. Look at that. There's our bread. It is delicious. I hope this is helpful.